Hi, Mike from Outside Xbox here. I'm going to try that full disclosure thing that's so fashionable these days. I'm a huge fan of the film Aliens, and the franchise in general, so much so that I've actually voluntarily watched Alien 3 more than once. So I was authentically excited about Colonial Marines. Now this usually goes one of two ways. Either the license means I enjoy the game in spite of a few flaws, or my spirit is entirely crushed by the weight of how relentlessly terrible it is. It's the second one. So by the time this video hits your retinas, Aliens Colonial Marines will have been released to reviews that we suspect will range from lukewarm to scathing. But can it really be that bad? I mean, it's based on one of the most celebrated action movies of all time. The aliens are an endlessly fascinating enemy, and Gearbox have had 6 whole years to make the game. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, you want a list? Oh no, I can do that. Well, for a start, it's a surprisingly ugly game. Yes, the colour grading of the movie has been impressively recreated, but the fidelity of the visuals is atrocious and the screen tearing all over the place. I haven't seen an Unreal Engine game look this bad since, well, the previous generation of Unreal Engine. I mean, look at what Bioshock Infinite is doing with the same basic tech.
What is this place?
Now look at Aliens again.
I'll shit in my breakfast. Everybody hang on to something!
It's the character models that suffer the most though. Aliens Colonial Marines has these pretensions towards being a dramatic experience on a par with cinema, but when the lines are being delivered by lump and potatoes, it's tough to take it seriously. I racked my brains for ages trying to work out who Captain Cruz reminded me of. It wasn't a real person, it was the head from Art Attack.
If you're going to try that, put down some newspaper first.
Secondly, why am I shooting men in an Aliens game? It's not even like this is just one level or even a big plot spoiler. By the end of the second mission, Aliens Colonial Marines is bored of aliens and is instead throwing tedious conventional soldiers at you. By the end I reckon I'd plugged more people than aliens. I mean, if you're going to make me shoot endless waves of men, why didn't you call your game Men Colonial Marines instead? To make things worse, these soldiers demonstrate AI that's about as sophisticated as one of those little Roomba vacuum cleaners. Yes, they avoid bumping into things, but that's where the similarities with a real human being end. Of course, Gearbox will argue that the humans are in there to serve the story, a story which feels like a bad fanfic. Hey, assembled cast of characters, Stay Frosty was a great line, right? Who wants to say it? Oh, all of you.
Stay frosty. Stay frosty!
Okay, then that's fine, because it won't deaden the impact of a line we've already ripped from the film at all. Wouldn't be surprised if the script was just a randomised version of the IMDb quotes page for Aliens 1986. And barring populating the entire deserted colony with people, the plot's basically a less inspiring retread of the movie. Gearbox reckon this is an authentic sequel to the film, but what kind of sequel will revisit the exact same locations and set pieces almost in sequence? What has been added is either nonsense or just dull and has no bearing on the shooting. Still, at least Gearbox persuaded Michael Biehn to reprise his role as Hicks. Well, I say they persuaded him, they might just have snuck into his house and recorded him talking in his sleep for all the emotion in his performance.
And request immediate assistance aboard the USS Sulaco. Of the survivors, myself, 2 human females.
I mean, he can't have forgotten how to act, can he? Does that happen? And besides, it doesn't matter how much Hollywood talent you rope in, those cinematic pretensions are shattered when enemies drop giant collectible ammo boxes when they die. You can't have your cake and eat it, particularly when that cake was baked in the 1990s and is now not fit for human consumption. Still, we do like the idea that you can wear 5 helmets at once and that protects you from attack by xenomorphs. The overall impressions of a game that looks and plays every one of its 6 years, plus a few more on top. Even 2010's much maligned Aliens vs Predator took a better punt at a marine experience that was inspired by but not a slave to the source material. Still, as an Alien fan, all is not lost. Now that Colonial Marines has hauled its sorry carcass onto the shelves, Sega is free to talk about the other project in the franchise that is in the works. Creative Assembly's game is based on Ridley Scott's 1979 film Alien, and is generally understood to be a next-gen survival horror game in the Dead Space vein. After Colonial Marines' complete inability to terrify us, that sounds like the perfect way for the franchise to get back in our good books. Fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this video, please do click like and subscribe, and bear in mind that I did endure playing Aliens Colonial Marines to make it. Thanks.